Hi everybody, I'm Jonathan with LazyLizard.net, web hosting to the stars. So not real stars, but stars like us, the everyday stars, the regular people, the real stars of this world. Today we're going to look at the top 10 plugins that you need for any WordPress site. All WordPress sites could use these plugins. They will be better for you. These focus on security and utility. They do not focus on content or, any other thing you might want, like a shopping cart or, comments pages and those kinds of things that will integrate into your site, and every site will be different depending on their needs. These are the 10 plugins that you need to have for your WordPress site to run securely, to be as free as possible from hackers, to be almost hack-proof, and utilities just to basically make the site run better and to do a couple of chores for you in case you need to ever move your site or copy it to a new server, or you want to change domain names, things like that. So we'll be looking at those kinds of things. So for right now, I have logged into the admin section on knowthenet.net, which is our demo domain, and don't bother going there ever after you see the video, because I delete everything after I create the videos. So this shows you what you have when you first log in. You have two plugins on all WordPress sites. We'll always give you these two plugins: Akismet Anti-Spam and Hello Dolly. Now, Akismet, which for some reason I always used to call ASCIImet. For years I called it ASCIImet, and I finally realized that's not how it's spelled. It's basically a comment spam preventer, and it does a great job. It comes with every WordPress site. To activate it, you click Activate. And after you've activated it, they want you to go to their page, their settings page, and give them a little information, your email address basically, to get an API key so you can run it on your server for free at no charge forever. I have an API key that I use on a ton of different sites, and it works on all of them. It's no problem. They never charge for it. So give them the information, well worth it. Activate Akismet, so then that takes you to the form where they want you to fill out the information. And that's basically it. You do that, and you're good to go. Fill that out here, and they will get you rolling with their anti-spam plugin, mostly anti-comment spam. It does a great job. I've been using it for years on hundreds of sites, and it's always great. Hello Dolly is kind of a placeholder. It's not really a plugin, but it's WordPress's perennial tribute to the great Louis Armstrong, who was actually a star. And if I had hosted him, I could say I was a web host to the stars. So for some reason, WordPress loves Hello Dolly. So look, you want to activate this? Go ahead. It will do nothing for you at all. It's just a placeholder. Always delete it. When you first set up a site, delete it. All right, so here's the story. I own a web hosting company. I've owned it since 1996. I've had thousands of clients, hosted thousands of websites since 1996. And about 14 years ago, in 2005, I was hosting a bunch of WordPress sites, and one of the sites got hacked into. And when it got hacked into, the hacker used some code. He injected some code into the site, which was able to get out onto the server, and he literally destroyed every WordPress site on that server, and it almost put me out of business. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going to stay in this business, I got to figure out how to solve that problem. So we came up with a lot of different things that we did to the servers to fine-tune them for WordPress specifically, to keep them secure and safe. So at LazyLizard.net, all of our servers are fine-tuned for WordPress, and especially mainly for WordPress security. The worst thing in the world is to wake up in the morning, you open up a web browser, bring up your website, and it's all black with some white writing, and it says, "This is from ISIS, and we're going to get you." It's very unsettling, I have to say. And for me to see that on several hundred sites at the same time was not good. Not a good day, not a good week. But I did put my team together, and we got together and we figured this stuff out. And I think now we're quite expert in hosting WordPress sites securely. I have not had a problem like that at all in over 10 years. So I'm going to show you what you can do on your end. And, you can trust that we've done what we need to do on our end on the server as far as configuring servers to be safe for WordPress. But there's also some things each website owner needs to do on their own WordPress site to keep their site safe. And if everyone does this, it'll also help enhance the safety for the whole server. So we do this for all sites that sign up with us. We put all these plugins on there to get people started. And I will show you, I will go through them. This is my list over here on the right, which you have probably seen. Anyway, I'm going to go through the first few are for security, and the second batch is for utilities, just general utilities that are super helpful in certain situations. Now, let's go to add new plugins over here. Okay, if you don't know, to add a plugin, you go to the plugins section, click add new, and type in what you're looking for. So I have all the names right here. I'm just going to type in, start here, force HTTPS, and I will explain why we're doing this. Okay, so here it is, WordPress force HTTPS. This one is to force all websites into secure mode. You can see up here right now it says not secure. So guess what? Every time I log into the admin area here, it does not go through SSL. It is not a secure login, and any hackers along the way could pick up everything. They could pick up my login name, my complete password, and they could pick up the URL to the website admin if they couldn't figure that out already. So you need to put something on there to force your site into HTTPS or into secure mode, SSL mode. Okay, you never want to log in without this. I don't mind doing it now. The site is just a throwaway. It's up for this demo, and once we're done, this thing is coming down. So I could care less. I couldn't care less if someone figures this out and gets in or hacks my password, but someone could. When your username and password travel through the internet from your keyboard to your web host, it is all public information unless you're on a secure line. And so you got to be on a secure line. So you want to force that. So I've been using this one, but this one says it's very popular. So let's check it out. These two, look, here's the thing. You want to look at all plugins for two things. One, how many active users they have, and two, when was the last time it was updated. Generally, the more recently it was updated, the better. Not always necessary, but it helps. And the more active installs, the better. You know why? Because a lot of these developers for plugins, they're just single guys, like sitting in their home somewhere writing plugins all day. And, if they have 14 users, they are not going to be motivated to keep that thing up. And the next time a new version of WordPress comes out, it's going to slide. And a couple of versions later, their plugin ain't going to work anymore. So you want to try to find plugins that have, a good base of users. This one, 30,000 users, that's not too bad. I've used plugins with that many users, but a lot of these plugins don't have that many users. 2,000, that's getting a little low. So that is anyway, so back to really simple SSL. Let's give that a try, see how that works. I trust it with that star rating, that many users, and the fact it was updated 3 weeks ago. I know with all the users they have, they are definitely going to keep it up, and they have a very good star rating. So going to click activate. And let's see if we're good to go. Premium support. You can, a lot of these things you can get premium. So let's reload the page, see if it forces it into HTTPS. No, a lot of these you have to log out and log back in. And that is not the logout screen. So here we go. Using LastPass again to log back in very quickly and automatically. All right, so all right, so we go to the settings, SSL, and we click go ahead and activate SSL. Now notice it says an SSL certificate was detected on your site, and that's right, because every site we host comes automatically with a free SSL certificate that lasts the whole time you have your website with us. So all our sites have this, and this will never be a problem. Go ahead, activate SSL. Let's reload, see if that helps. There we go. I reloaded the page, it logged me out. Now look what's up here. HTTPS. That was not there before. Remember, before it said not secure. So now we're good to go. Now when I log in, no one can intercept this login data. No one can get my password or my username. All right, so that's how you get that one going. Now let's go back to installed plugins. We've got 2 down, 8 to go. So the next one is Easy Updates Manager. Now remember, I said these are all for security. Oh, sorry, you gotta click on Add New. I always forget to do that. So Easy Update Manager, and there we go, right here. So all these are for security. Now you may be saying, what is an Easy Update Manager? This plugin will automatically update all your plugins, plus WordPress itself, plus your themes, whenever a new update comes out. So I'm going to activate that. This one is super important for security. Not only does it make it super convenient for you, when you have a site and it's active and you have maybe 15 plugins on it, you are going to be getting notices every day that this one needs to be updated, that one needs to be updated, and it will drive you crazy after a while. At first, when you first start off, it seems like all fun and games and it's all good and you don't mind, but after literally a week, you're going crazy. You're like, what in the world is going on? I can't do this every day. So this will update everything for you. A lot of people, and you may have a site that's too complicated and you don't want automatic updates. I understand that, and some people do. But for most of us on the most basic websites, it never matters. People with, simple websites, simple WordPress sites, I've been using this for years on literally hundreds of sites, never had a problem. And I had problems in the past with plugins that did not get updated that got hacked into. So it's very important to keep these plugins updated. So Easy Updates Manager, configure. So it'll give you a little configuration that you can go through. You can kind of choose what you want. I choose automatic updates, always, everything. I think default is also everything, but I just let them do everything. I've been letting them do everything on hundreds of sites for many years and never had a problem. Enable core updates, WordPress core. Yes, you want to do that. Plugin updates. This updates all your plugins. This updates all your themes. Yes, you want to do all these things. Translation updates. I've never used a translation. I don't know what they're talking about, but just say yes. Core notification emails, and they will send you emails that also will drive you crazy because they'll send it at least once a day. That will tell you we updated your plugin. So when you first start off, you may want to do that and just get a feel for it and understand what they're doing every day so you can check it. But after that, you don't really need to do that. Anyway, you can figure this out. It's a browser nag. Users using an older browser, it'll tell them update your browser. So I don't know if you want to bother your users with that. I don't know. I turn that off actually. I don't like bothering my users. WordPress version in the dashboard footer. I like to have the version down here, right here, so I can see what it is at all times. They change it so much. Anyway, then they give you, I think, specific. You can go in and specifically say, I don't want to update that plugin. This is a good part about it because some of you have complicated sites that you do have sometimes custom-made things that you do not want to break and you do not want them to update automatically. You can go right here and just block it. Say, I don't want to do that one, okay? Obviously, I do want to update the Easy Updates Manager, though. So we'll leave that one on. Actually, anyway, for most of my sites, I have a few clients that have more complicated setups, and they cannot automatically update everything. But they go in here and they can automatically update most of it, and they just uncheck the one or two things that they don't want to ever change without their permission, their active permission. All right. So we're going to go back to plugins, install plugins. We're getting done. Easy Updates Manager. That one's super important for security, and it will make everything a lot more convenient to you. Now here's another one for security. Invisible Recaptcha. All right. This is a great little thing. Again, I forget to go to Add New. So remember, click on Add New, and then you can search your plugins. And I'm going to search Invisible Recaptcha this time. This one again is for security. It is an extra step that, when you type it, or they used to ask you to type in the code that you see on the screen, and then Google went to the crazy thing that I hate, like the 9 boxes. And it's like check each one that has a sidewalk in it. I hate that. This makes it invisible most of the time, and makes it so you can let your visitors come in, and there is a reCAPTCHA that Google picks up. It goes by mouse movements and keyboard movements. They think they can detect if it's a real human or not, and I think they're pretty good at it so far. So I would install that. It's the reCAPTCHA, but it doesn't bother your visitors most of the time. Sometimes they have a question like, we can't tell if this is a human or not, and then they'll bring up the crazy thing with all the pictures on it. But this one is good to have because it saves that trouble for most of your visitors. All right, so that's there. reCAPTCHA, you don't have to do anything, just turn it on, and you're good to go. Now, the next two are true security plugins, and there are 2 of them. There's one called Security, and one that a lot of people are familiar with, WordFence Security. You can install one or both of these. I run both of these on all my sites. I have never had a break-in problem or a hacking problem since then. So I recommend going to Security. I also recommend clicking on Add New before you do that. Let's try that again. Security. And here you go, right here. Security auditing, malware scanner, and security hardening. They do a very good job. This is free. They have a paid version. Both of these, this and WordPress, both have a paid version. Activate. They also have a fairly complex setup that you can go through. You go over here, click on Security Dashboard. All right. And you can just read through all this stuff. All right. I'm not going to take the time to go through it. I just wanted to show you how to set it up. I wanted to tell you what the plugin is. Unable to properly scan your site, 404 not found. Anyway, that's something I have to go through and find out. It's probably a file, index.htm. That is not a WordPress file. So that's something I just have on there from some other demo. So don't worry about that. Now we're going to go back to plugins, add new, and I'm going to type in WordFence. And WordFence, Firewall, and Malware Scan. See, the reason I have both of these installed is 1, they don't conflict with each other, and 2, they're slightly different. They both scan in slightly different ways and look for slightly different things. So since they don't conflict with each other, I say you may as well have them both. They're both free. I mean, they both have a free version. All right. Okay, so now they want to ask me all these questions. I'm not going to answer that right now because my purpose here is to show you what the plugins are and just basically to get them installed. But with WordFence, you would go, they have a thing here too with a dashboard, and you'll go there and they'll have all the options for you that you can set up. Okay, resume installation, and they'll get that all set up for you. All right, so that's WordFence, very good one. They will also send you some pretty informative emails, and definitely recommend having that on your site. All right, now, so that's for the security. Let me just go through a couple of things that everybody should have on their site just to get started. The first one is called All-in-One WP Migration. All right, we're going to go check that one out. I always forget to click add new. All right. Always click add new, then go search on your new plugins. All right, here we go. All-in-one WordPress migration. Install now. Notice 2 million active installs, 5,600 reviews, looks like 4.2 stars. Anyway, they're very good. Activate, and you're good to go. All right, so here it is, all-in-one WP migration. Now, what that does, that's over here. So what this does is you can export your website. It makes a complete copy of your website, your database, all settings, everything, and packages it up into, I believe, a zip file, and lets you download it to your computer, and you can re-upload it to a new site, a new WordPress site, through this plugin. Put the plugin on the new site. It will upload it. Now watch, I can go export to a file. Well, they have all these things: FTP, Dropbox, Google Drive, Amazon S3. You can export to all these things. All right, now I'm going to do a file. Download knowthenet.net. Now this is the entire site. All right, so I'm not going to really do it because I don't need this. But that's how it works. Then, when you go to the new site, you click on import, obviously. And now you're going to drag and drop the file over here, or import it from a file, or from Dropbox, or from Amazon S3, or whatever. Okay, very, very good plugin. They also have a premium version, an unlimited extension that you buy. I forget how much it is. They will surely tell you. It is well worth it. And I believe they let you use it on any site you work on, like on an unlimited number of sites. So you just pay them for that once, and then you can use it on any sites. Here you go, get unlimited. All right. So thing is, when you copy, if you ever need to move your site to a new server with the same domain name, or to the same server and you want to change domain names, both of those things massively mess up WordPress. WordPress, you cannot just copy the files and copy the database and put them back up on a new server or under a new domain name, because there are a lot of settings in the database that you will never find on your own that are specific to your current environment. If you change anything about the environment, especially if you change the domain name, okay, or if you change to a new server, even though you're keeping the same domain name, a massive number of things that you would have to know and go through the database to change. This plugin does all that for you. It's really awesome. It finds all those things. You can change the domain name. You can copy this from here, from Know the Net. I can take it to a new domain name, even on a new server, and just re-upload it. It detects the new domain name. It detects the new server environment. It detects everything it needs, and it makes all the changes in the database, and the site will run perfectly after that. Now, there's one quick thing you need to know about it. If you do that, when I export this right now, it will copy, along with everything else, it will copy my login information to this site. It will copy my username and my password. So if you have set up WordPress on a new server with a different login name and password, be prepared. You're going to have to know the login, username, and password for your current site, because it's going to change it when you upload this to your new site, or on your new server, or under your new domain name, wherever you upload it to. So you're going to have to know the login information from your old site. Sometimes people don't. I don't know how they get logged in to do this without knowing that, but I've heard people say they logged in, they got their site, they deleted their site, and then they moved to the new server and suddenly they didn't know their login information. So it can turn out to be a bit of a hassle if you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, just take your username and password with you when you do this. All right. All right. So back to plugins. Now, that's all-in-one WordPress migration. Oh, they have a file size limitation on here. I think it's 400 megabytes or something like that. So if you need to do anything over that, then you would buy this. And it's also good to use on as many sites as you have. Now, let's look at this other one. Okay, click on Add New. Okay, I'm going to remember that this time. All right, WP Fastest Cache. You got to have a cache app or a cache plugin on here somewhere. Look, they got WP Super Cache, 2 million active installs, updated 3 months ago. I don't like that. That should have been updated more recently. WP Fastest Cache, the one I use and recommend, 900,000, so almost a million, updated 2 weeks ago. So this one is very good. I mean, these are amazing. These literally turn WordPress pages into like static, old-fashioned HTML pages, meaning they will look the way you want them to look. They will be fed through WordPress, but they will load like old-fashioned HTML pages. And the reason that's great is those pages load instantly like that. The minute you click on the page, it is up. There's no like loading the top, then the middle, then the bottom. It is instant, the whole page. So that's the good part about it. Activate. All right, so now we have our cache, and you have to go set that up too. There's a bit of a big setup on that. You know, if you're setting all this up for the first time, you can plan to spend half a day on all this, because you're gonna have to read the stuff. You know, enable the cache system. Yes, you have to do that. That's the main thing. All these other things, you're pretty good to check most of them, but read them, understand what they mean. If you don't know what they mean, they have the information thing here that will take you to a tutorial and give you all the information you need to clear the cache after update. Anyway, if you read through all these things, if you don't know anything about it in the first place and you read through all this, you will learn a lot. You'll gain a great understanding of how all this works, all right? And you'll be way ahead of the game, ahead of people who don't understand how this works. Now, they have a premium version too. I've never used it. I am not sure why you need it. I guess on bigger sites or busier sites or something, I don't know, but their free version has worked fine for me for several years. All right, this last one, WordPress has just recently changed their posting module where you type in your information, your articles, and they've updated it to a thing they call Gutenberg. Well, Gutenberg is like, you don't want to know about it. It's terrible. Look, I am always open to new things. From the time I first used a computer, the time the first new software update came out, I was like, yay, new update, great. When new versions of Windows come out, I'm always, yay, new version. Everybody hates the new version. Like, I like the old version. I don't want to change. The old version was great. I was never like that. I'm like, the new version is much better. I always like new things. I thought they were going to come up with a great new way to add your text and write your articles, and they didn't. They have really disappointed everybody. So there's this thing called Disable Gutenberg, and you can see 200,000 people have used it already. And you have people making all kinds of other things over here to enhance Gutenberg and make it better. Anyway, it's terrible. This thing takes you back to the old way that they used to have the text boxes set up where you could type in your articles. Actually, let me deactivate this and just show you real quickly. If you go to post, add a new post, all right? Here's what you're going to get when you first get there. Welcome to the wonderful world of blocks. I mean, if they got to explain it, it's not good. That's not a good sign. Add a block. Click the plus sign to add a block to your page. There are blocks available for all kinds of content. You can insert text, headings, images, lists, and lots more. And, you know, I'll tell you, a big clue that something's not right here is that they have to give you this much explanation. This is not intuitive, but I don't care if it's intuitive. Look, I'm pressing the plus sign. They said press the plus sign to add a new block. Well, that's not working. Okay, so I'm going to type here, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm going to press the plus. Where do I press the plus sign? It just said click the plus sign, right? Anyway, so that doesn't work. So the first problem is they don't give you all the options you used to have. I mean, they're not instantly there. You got to drop this thing down and go through a bunch of big rigmarole to kind of find things. Add title, that's great. This is my title, yay. Okay. This is my article. Yay. All right. The bottom line is, it just doesn't work well. I mean, I'm hitting the enter, new line, and it's just giving me all these crazy blocks. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that? You know? Oh, this is going to be a paragraph. Okay, so yeah, in the old way, you just put it in the paragraph box and you start typing. If you have something that's not a paragraph, like a heading, you go up here and you click heading in the toolbar. But now I got to click and choose. Okay, let's make this a heading. Now we got to choose which kind of heading. Okay, new heading. Enter. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, that's great, but what if I want this line to be closer to the heading? How do I get it back? And this is the other thing that drives me crazy. If the cursor is here, and I move the mouse all around over here, this doesn't go away, and it blocks what's above it. That's what was driving me crazy. I tried for 2 days to use this, and it literally drove me nuts. 2 days, like probably total 6 hours, all right? I gave it a chance, but I didn't mind typing in these boxes. I started to understand, okay, you click new line, you get a new box. All right, I got that. So that's fine. But so many little headaches like this coming up. I don't want this. I can't see what I wrote above it. I need to sometimes go back. You sometimes need to go back and look at what's on the line above. And you can't do that with this crazy thing. So look, save yourself the trouble. Go back over here, leave this page. Do not try to save anything on this page. Go back to disable Gutenberg and disable it, activate, okay? This thing is so crazy. Now look, let's go back to post, add new, and watch this. Now we're back to our old normal thing. Look, I'm typing some words, okay? I get to the next line. I put the cursor here, the cursor's here, I move the mouse around. I can still see what's on this top line. There's nothing blocking my view. I like that, all right? So WordPress, I don't know what you came up with. It's this big new fancy thing. That's great. I'm happy for you, but leave me out of it. Disable Gutenberg. I recommend that plugin. Try the Gutenberg if you want to, but if you ever want to get rid of it, this plugin does a great job. And that is it. These are the essential plugins you need, mainly for safety and security and to keep your site as hack-proof as possible. And put your site on a good server that's fine-tuned for WordPress sites, and you should be in good shape. And of course, as I mentioned, we at LazyLizard.net have done that, and we're happy to host you. So feel free to contact us through the links below, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching.